What do you feel happened to Black Hollywood to where it used to be an event to put out a black movie?
Tyler Perry happened to Black Hollywood, and he did it by using stupid, ignorant, so-called Christian to fund all of his very homosexual behavior. Because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler, and you were having a glorious time. I spent a lot of time in Miami, and I snuck around Star Island quite a bit. I know Christian isn't lying.
Rumor that have been going on about my relationship status. Let me make it clear to you all. I'm not for those of you spreading rumor Jalla Kelly because you find out I'm that's a big lie.
Because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler.
Film giant Tyler Perry has been accused of assault in a $260 million lawsuit. Perry is being sued by actor Daryl Dixon, accusing him of creating a coercive, exploitive dynamic while he was acting on the filmmaker's shows, The Oval and Ruthless. He alleges Perry promised him a successful acting career and then subjected him to escalating assault and professional retaliation when he didn't reciprocate his unwanted advances.
Actor and writer Christian Keys is now being mentioned in the lawsuit that Derek Dixon has filed against Tyler Perry for harassment and battery.
Tyler Perry has been hit with a huge assault lawsuit from an actor by the name of Derek Dixon. Now, according to TMZ, Derek is suing Tyler Perry for $260 million, and he's suing for quid pro quo and workplace harassment and sexual assault and battery.
Tyler Perry, the man known for building an empire out of struggle to success stories, is now at the center of a real-life scandal, and it's messier than any Madea plot. The internet is buzzing, and it's not just because of gossip. There are lawsuits, leaked messages, and people from inside his own circle starting to speak out. It's giving inspiration and more intimidation. So what really went down? Let's roll it all out.
So earlier today, we reported to you that Derek Dixon, a former actor that was on Tyler Perry's The Oval, is suing Tyler Perry, accusing him of touching him without his consent.
Our internet experts have been back there looking, and they've looked under your name, your ex-husband's name, your name with Perry as your last name.
And they're not going to find anything.
They haven't found one thing, and if it had gone viral, it would be all over the internet.
HK, I think you said it best a few episodes ago where like it's okay until it's not.
Yeah.
Right? And so that'll be the thing that I think will be interesting about this is, first off, that number is way too high. So what he's asking for, he's suing for that much money because he's hoping for a settlement of 10% of that.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the move that you're trying to make legally. But then the next thing is when all of these text messages come out. Because I saw some on the Shade Room, some showed up on Jasmine Brand, and I didn't get a chance to read all of them, but they clearly had a dialogue.
Okay.
You know, they very clearly had a dialogue. And so it's very tricky for someone like Tyler Perry, unfortunately, because he is in such a massive position of power.
Right.
And if you must know, we're still working together, so enough with the rumor. And if you have interest in me to figure out I'm straight, kindly text me directly, and I'll make out time to reply thank you.
I need him to tell me what happened to my friends. Tyler Perry has been making black people look like buffoons and idiots for years and pawning it off as culture. Oh, this is our culture, this is how we is. No, that's not how we is. Tyler Perry happened to Black Hollywood, and he did it by using stupid, ignorant, so-called Christian to fund all of his very behavior.
Jaguar Wright, the soul singer who's been calling out Hollywood's dark side for years, has already dropped hints. She's been saying Tyler's not who he claims to be. Word is, he's been spotted at those infamous Diddy parties, getting a little too friendly with men who looked way too young. But at the time, folks brushed her off like she was just bitter, until now. Because Derek Dixon, one of the actors from Tyler's own show, The Oval, just flipped the table. He's filed a $260 million lawsuit, and it's not vague. The thing is packed with names, timestamps, receipts, and disturbing details. Derek says Tyler promised him fame, movies, success, the whole Hollywood dream. But there was a catch. When he didn't fall in line, the threats came in hot. We're talking play along or we end off your character type of stuff. That's not mentorship, that's power being used like a weapon. According to Derek, it all started back in 2019 at Tyler's studio. What began as a professional relationship took a sharp turn. Late night messages started rolling in. The tone, not innocent, way too personal, and eventually, straight up inappropriate. At one point, Derek said Tyler was out here making bold comments. Stuff like how certain bottoms go crazy when you hit the G-spot right. Yes, that was allegedly coming from a Hollywood mogul. Not playful, not subtle. That's straight up uncomfortable. But it didn't stop there. Derek says Tyler physically cornered him, pinned him against a wall, and made physically aggressive remarks on set.
Tyler Perry has been hit with a huge assault lawsuit from an actor by the name of Derek Dixon. Now, according to TMZ, Derek is suing Tyler Perry for $260 million, and he's suing for quid pro quo and workplace assault and battery. Now, Derek claims that Tyler asked for his number back in 2019, and he ended up giving him a small role in a show called Ruthless. Now, in 2020, TP allegedly invited Dixon to his house in Atlanta. Now, Dixon claims he got drunk and slept in TP's guest room, where at some point, TP got into the bed and rubbed on his thigh, but he rejected the alleged advance, but TP still gave him a role in the Oval. Now, Derek also alleges that Tyler continued to text him, revealing he allegedly liked with men.
In another terrifying moment, Tyler allegedly walked into his guest house uninvited while Derek was just in his underwear and tried to force himself on him. Derek had to think fast, change the subject, and basically act his way out of the moment just to get safe. And honestly, that sounds more like survival than anything else. If you think this all sounds too messy to be real, hold that thought. This isn't the first time someone's hinted at this exact kind of behavior. Actor Christian Keyes had already dropped a cryptic bomb years ago. He never said names, but it was obvious who he meant. He talked about a big name in Hollywood who tried to get him to spread them cheeks just to land a role. Everyone could read between the lines, and all signs pointed in one direction. Then that photo dropped. Tyler Perry chilling on a yacht with Mariah Carey's ex, Brian Tanaka. That was the moment people said Derek Dixon had enough. Word is, Derek thought he was Tyler's favorite. Then he saw the pic and realized he was just one of many. And this isn't just internet drama anymore. It's starting to look like a full-blown pattern. Powerful men allegedly using promises of opportunity to gain control, keep people silent, and cross the line behind closed doors. The whispers, they've turned into people screaming their stories out loud. Derek said Tyler wasn't just pretending to be a mentor, he was allegedly running his own private casting couch, disguised as career help. And the way he flipped between sweet and scary, intense. One day, acting like a blessing, the next, acting like a threat. As soon as Derek pushed back, things went downhill. He says, Tyler didn't just get petty, he got calculated. The threats came in quick. Tyler allegedly warned him that if he didn't cooperate, his character on the Oval would end. And sure enough, the changes came fast. Lines vanished, screen time shrank. Bit by bit, Derek said he was getting erased from the show. And then, as if that wasn't enough, Tyler allegedly offered him a writing gig. Like that would fix everything. But Derek wasn't about to stick around. He wasn't just walking away, he was running. Still, Tyler reportedly kept messaging him even after. One of the leaked messages, it said something along the lines of, "No straight man would be cooking for you unless he wanted to." Seriously? This wasn't just crossing a line, that was stomping all over it. The energy behind those messages, not just unprofessional, it came off jealous, controlling, obsessive. This wasn't someone flirting, this was someone who couldn't take rejection. And if all that sounded familiar, that's because Christian Keyes had already been through something eerily similar.
Actor and writer Christian Keyes is now being mentioned in the lawsuit that Derek Dixon has filed against Tyler Perry for and battery. So earlier today, we reported to you that Derek Dixon, a former actor that was on Tyler Perry's The Oval, is suing Tyler Perry, accusing him of touching him without his consent. But a lot of people have been mentioning the name Christian Keyes. You may recall, I think it was last year that Christian Keyes did a live on social media and talked about a very popular black billionaire that has been him for years. However, no one has heard anything from Christian Keyes since in regards to those statements. Well, now, if you look at the lawsuit, Christian Keyes' name is mentioned. And they say, in fact, it is alleged that Christian Keyes and others may have been subjected to the same and TPS Tyler Perry Studios knowingly covered up the harassment.
His story mirrored Derek's, only his happened years ago. Christian had dropped clues about a big Hollywood name who tried to sleep with him in exchange for roles. He never flat out mentioned Tyler, but the dots were easy to connect. In one video, Christian described being drunk off Hennessy after a party, crashing at someone's guest house, and waking up to that same man trying to climb into bed with him. He pushed the guy off, only for him to come back later and try to grope him during a handshake. But here's where it gets really wild. Christian claimed he had recordings, actual audio. The man supposedly talked about paying young black men to be on call, ready at any time. It wasn't mentorship. It wasn't friendship. It sounded more like a twisted Hollywood subscription plan. Christian Key said he walked away from that whole twisted situation because he didn't want that to be his legacy. His own brother warned him, once you drop those tapes, you can't undo it. That kind of thing sticks to your name forever. And now things are spiraling. Fans online have already started linking this to the Diddy situation. Just like Cassie's lawsuit lit that first match, people are saying Derek Dixon's case might be the one to blow the lid off something much bigger. Derek wasn't just speaking for himself either. He made it real clear Tyler Perry might have allegedly done this before, and not just once. He hinted that other men in the industry had similar experiences. One of the messages reportedly had Tyler asking what it would take for Derek to have guilt-free intimacy. He even tied it into therapy, and made a weird side comment comparing it to a Geo Metro car. Derek played along, but kind of brushed it off by saying he'd need to give up his religious guilt, maybe even become a Buddhist. Tyler answered by saying he had friends in their 50s and 60s still dealing with that guilt and said that it was sad. Then he added that you could let go of guilt and still believe in Christ. Like, what even was that conversation?
Now, of course, Tyler Perry's attorney, Matthew Boyd, released a statement saying this is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. But Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident that these fabricated claims of harassment will fail. And you see how I piped it up and got my voice? Because I believe the attorney. I don't believe the guy.
Oh, I will say it does sound a little, embarrassed. Maybe it's a lot of holes in the story, so I could see where maybe it was a setup. I mean, I don't know. I love Tyler Perry, so I really hope it's not true.
Yeah, same. And the thing is,
there was also a chat where Tyler asked how strong Derek's no was, like testing his boundaries. Derek responded with something about how his mom thought he'd sell his soul to the Illuminati because Kanye once said it's real. Tyler tried to sound chill but doubled down, saying you have to be able to say no and mean it. Then Derek joked that he'd only say yes if it got him an Oscar. Tyler replied with something shady, basically saying the only person who could have done that was already in prison. It was given major creeper vibes, and it just kept getting deeper. Tyler allegedly told Derek he hoped someone would hold him, make love to him, and help him enjoy the best years of his life. Said he was missing out. Then it got extra awkward when Tyler started acting jealous over a photo shoot Derek did with another man. It was like he wanted to be in those pics instead. Definitely not just friendly. And if that wasn't enough, he threw in a line about how Derek was so beautiful, and once he unlocked his mind, he'd drive someone crazy. So here's where things got even messier. Tyler apparently hinted one day that he was feeling extra-like in that mood and blamed it on his testosterone. He made it sound like his energy was just too much to handle, and even said he felt sorry for anyone who tried flirting with him at that moment. It was giving way too much. And if that wasn't weird enough, folks on set had already started noticing how close Tyler and Derek were getting. The vibe? Way beyond just work. That's when Tyler reportedly told Derek to keep things quiet. Word is he warned him not to tell anyone about their new friendship, saying it would open the door to drama and questions. He pushed the idea that Derek was there because of his talent, not because of some behind-the-scenes hookup or special favor. Basically, he told Derek to play it cool or risk being seen as someone who didn't earn his spot.
there's so much bearing of false accusations out there in the world, right? And I know sometimes there's a paycheck at the end of it, and sometimes maybe people do it out of spite because they didn't get something that they wanted or they felt like they got looked over. But what people sometimes fail to realize is when you make wild pitch allegations like this, sometimes people don't hear about the retraction or the fact that it turns out this is fraudulent. They just remember these moments.
And Tyler didn't stop there. He apparently told Derek that when they got back to work, he wasn't going to act like they were even friends. Like straight up said, he doesn't have friends working for him. That professionalism was key, which is wild considering how personal their conversations were already getting. Because instead of backing off, Tyler allegedly doubled down and made things even more personal. Derek said Tyler started asking him about his gender preferences. Yep, he allegedly asked if Derek was a top or a bottom, basically trying to find out how he liked it in bed. That's not mentorship, that's crossing every line.
Also alleges that Tyler continued to him, revealing he allegedly liked men and asked about his preferences. He claims he feared that his career would suffer if he complained. Now, Derek says that TP invited him over again in late 2020, and TP once again became allegedly asked if he likes it rough in bed, and by then grabbed him by the throat. He claims TP said, "Look how excited you just got."
And according to Derek, it didn't stop there. Tyler reportedly said he'd been with men before and labeled himself a top. He apparently bragged that when a man has a big D and hits the G-spot just right, these bottoms lose their minds. Then it got real twisted. Tyler supposedly said he wasn't looking for love, just a physical connection. Like he wanted a man who was already in a relationship, but still down to hook up with him on the side. A friend with benefits. No emotional strings attached, just physical access. That's the energy he was allegedly giving off. Cold, calculated, and all about control. But what makes this different is how it lines up with past whispers. People are starting to remember that both Monique and Cat Williams had hinted before that Tyler might have done something to Christian Keys. At the time, it sounded like vague shade, but now it's starting to sound like receipts, because Derek Dixon is making almost the exact same claims. According to the lawsuit back in December 2023, Christian Keys went on social media and dropped a video where he described a creepy experience with a rich, powerful black man in Hollywood. He never named names, but Derek put two and two together and believes he was talking about Tyler Perry. Once Derek saw Christian's story, he said it clicked. The same stuff had happened to him too. He claims Perry got drunk, climbed into his bed, and started touching him. That's when Derek said he knew he couldn't stay silent anymore. He wanted to tell the truth, not just for himself, but to warn other actors, to make sure nobody else had to go through what he did. So here's where the tea really starts boiling. Derek claimed that Tyler Perry Studios didn't just stay quiet. They allegedly paid Christian Keys to keep everything under wraps. According to the court documents, TPS didn't just ignore what happened, they supposedly handed Christian a check and made threats to keep him silent. That's not just shady, that's terrifying if it's true. It's giving full-blown damage control.
To protect Mr. Perry, TPS allegedly took actions against Mr. Keys, including but not limited to paying Mr. Keys a certain sum of money and threatening him if he disclosed Perry's sex. If you remember the videos that we did on Christian Keys, back then, it seemed as if he was about to go to law enforcement with his accusations. But subsequently, we haven't heard a thing since then.
Once this all hit the internet, Tyler didn't just sit back. He immediately got his legal team involved. His lawyer clapped back hard, saying Derek was just trying to run a scam after getting close to Perry. They said the claims were totally made up and that the lawsuit wouldn't stand a chance in court. Basically, they made it clear that Tyler wasn't about to be shaken down. But let's be honest, when there are this many people with similar stories, it's getting harder and harder not to look at Tyler sideways. Now let's get back to Christian Keys for a second. In an old video clip, he really opened up, and it was raw. He talked about being harassed, bullied, and intimidated for years. And now suddenly he's supposed to be the villain? He said the worst part is watching people worship someone who he says did all that. Christian made it sound like the people were told to trust in this industry. The mentors, leaders, icons, they might not be who they pretend to be. Then came the wildest part of his story. Christian said a man once came to his house and offered him $1 million just to strip. Not even to sleep with him. No touching, just to watch him undress. That alone would raise eyebrows. He didn't name the guy, but he dropped a big clue. The man was a black billionaire known for being generous and giving back to the black community. The kind of guy who's always on the front page for cutting checks and doing big charity work.
Tyler Perry has been making black people look like buffoons and idiots for years and pawning it off as culture. Oh, this is our culture, this is how we is. No, that's not how we is. Tyler Perry happened to Black Hollywood, and he did it by using stupid, ignorant, so-called Christian to fund all of his very behavior. Let's just be honest, it was Black American churches that made Tyler Perry rich. They went to all his plays. Like, Tyler Perry plays started in the churches. And he took all of that money and hustled that money and hustled that money and hustled that money into the television shows. And yet, how many churches does he donate to? Because the only one I've ever seen him donate to was TV Power Bottoms.
Christian said he was done watching this man parade around like he's doing all of this good for the culture. He said if someone's really going to help, they need to speak up and be real about it. No more hiding behind PR stunts. And here's where it gets messy. That philanthropic figure, he apparently paid full tuition for entire HBCU graduating classes. Sound familiar? People didn't have to guess long. Almost everyone started pointing fingers at Tyler Perry. Tyler's known for giving big to black causes and funding schools. But now it's that same generosity making people think he could be the man Christian was talking about all along. Back then, it all seemed like speculation. But now with Derek's lawsuit hitting the internet and both Monique and Cat Williams backing him up, it's looking more real than people expected.
Yeah, let me ask you about Divorce in the Black. Tyler Perry's latest movie has
Worst movie ever.
Yeah, God.
Humiliation ritual.
Yeah, in the first 8 minutes, just what the I mean, if anyone thought about us in some kind of way, that's to show that, to put that in.
Tyler Perry has been making black people look like buffoons and idiots for years and pawning it off as culture.
What do you feel happened to Black Hollywood to where it used to be an event to put out a black movie?
Tyler Perry happened to Black Hollywood, and he did it by using stupid, ignorant, so-called Christian to fund all of his very behavior. He ain't Richard Smallwood. He's a whole cross-dressing weirdo. Let's just be honest. It was black American that made Tyler Perry rich. They went to all his plays. Like, Tyler Perry plays started in the churches.
And the drama might not even be done yet. Monique is dropping hints that more is coming. She's saying there's a list, yes, a whole list, of people that Tyler allegedly SA'd. And if that list ever comes out, especially if it's Monique who brings it to light, it's going to be a bombshell. This could be her big revenge moment. The lick back she's been waiting on for years. And from the way people are talking, Hollywood might not be ready for it. Jaguar Wright wasn't surprised at all. She's been calling Tyler out for years, saying he's not the wholesome church-going mogul people think he is. According to her, she saw him at those wild Diddy parties, the ones she called freak-offs, getting real handsy with guys who looked way too young. And when she spoke up, she says Tyler blacklisted her instantly. Word is he told actors on his set that if they ever talked to her, they'd lose their jobs. That's not paranoia, that's straight up damage control.
Rumor that have been going on about my relationship status, let me make it clear to you all. I'm not for those of you spreading rumor Jala Kelly because you find out I'm it's a big lie.
Because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler. And you were having a glorious time.
And if you must know, we're still working together, so enough with the rumor. And if you have interest in me to figure out I'm straight, kindly text me directly, and I'll make out time to reply thank you.
I need him to tell me what happened to my friends. And I don't care how long it's been since I talked to them. They will always be my friends. Always. Tim and Durrett and Lamont Rucker were not the same after they went on camera with Tyler Perry. Christian, I think you can tell me why.
Jaguar also said Black Hollywood bent to Tyler like he was pulling all the strings. He built his empire by leaning hard into the church crowd, selling out gospel theaters, playing the moral guy, slapping God's name on every script. But behind the scenes, she painted a way darker picture. She claimed he only gave money to churches that benefited him, like Bishop T.D. Jakes, who, by the way, has had his own shady rumors. Jaguar said it wasn't real charity, it was strategy. Buy silence, buy access, buy power. And now, that cupboard's finally cracking. Receipts are popping up. More people are speaking out. But Tyler? Still radio silence. No statement, no denial, just nothing. Meanwhile, Christian Keys didn't vanish after he told his story. And yeah, people dragged him online, calling him thirsty for attention. But he never took it back. He just got quiet. And that quiet, it said a lot. Because when someone's sitting on evidence, text recordings, and the kind of stuff that could blow everything up, and they don't drop it? That's not giving up, that's survival. Even Christian admitted his brother warned him. Once this stuff is out, it'll follow him forever. Every job, every headline, it would all come back to that.
But then the next thing is when all of these text messages come out. Because I saw some on the Shade Room, some showed up on Jasmine Brand, and I didn't get a chance to read all of them, but they clearly had a dialogue. Okay. You know, they very clearly had a dialogue. And so it's very tricky for someone like Tyler Perry, unfortunately, because he is in such a massive position of power.
So he backed off, but he didn't fold. He just kept the proof close, just in case. Jaguar, though, she got even louder. She called Tyler out for using religion like a costume, saying he didn't really believe it, he just knew it sold tickets. According to her, once he made his millions, he forgot about the communities he used to build his brand. She said for all that money he made off church folks, barely any of it went back, unless it helped him gain more influence.
Listen to this, guys. Tell me what you think.
Actors, they're not allowed to consort with me. Because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler. And you were having a glorious time. I spent a lot of time in Miami, and I snuck around Star Island quite a bit. I know Christian isn't lying, but I need him to tell me what happened to my friends. And I don't care how long it's been since I talked to them. They will always be my friends. Always. Tim and Durrett and Lamont Rucker were not the same after they went on camera with Tyler Perry. Christian, I think you can tell me why.
She also claimed both Tyler and Bishop Jakes were regulars at those private Star Island parties. Same ones Diddy and the Hollywood elite supposedly attended. And those weren't just parties. She said it was all about control. Tyler allegedly built his own empire, his own studios, shows, casting system, so if you were black and trying to break into Hollywood, you had to go through him, no way around it. And now social media is on fire. People are pulling up old interviews, revisiting past rumors, and putting the pieces together. What used to sound like random gossip now feels like one big messy puzzle, and everything's starting to fit. One commenter said it best. Christian Keys could have had $260 million, 0 cents if he stood on business. Another wrote, not shocked. People have been whispering about Tyler for years. Finally, someone had the guts to drag him to court. Honestly, even if Derek doesn't win in court, the damage might already be done, because the internet has made up its mind. Clips, casting choices, interviews, they're all being rewatched with a whole new lens. And still, Tyler hasn't said a single word. Jaguar once said, give it a few days, he won't be able to hide forever. And now, all eyes are watching. Because when the curtain finally comes down on Hollywood's so-called kings, what's behind it is almost never what they want us to see. So now it's your turn. What do you think is really going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And when you're done, go check out our next video. Trust us, this story is far from over.